Let's see what happens. All right, let's see if that sounds better. Hold on. If it's not any better, in a minute here.
No. There we go.
Let's see if that sounds better.
All right. Now we got it going. So, let's get to the important stuff we all want to know. Which, of course, is let's get started, Lucky Whitehead. So we all know Lucky Whitehead was cut from the team today. Some new information came out that he had previously been arrested for shoplifting back in June. Didn't let anyone know, didn't show up for his court date. He does have a warrant out for his arrest now, and the Cowboys...
They didn't know anything about it, by the way. Jason Garrett heard about it today at training camp. And today we started it off, and it just he was not having any of it. This similar thing happened last season, if you recall, where he didn't tell the coaches about some kind of he was going to miss an important meeting before a game, and the Cowboys self-imposed a suspension on him. So there's these little issues with Whitehead throughout his career. On top of that,
on top of his horrible, horrible hands, constantly fumbling the ball.
Well, I wouldn't say constantly. But I'd say
enough to make us worry every single time he had his hands on the ball.
He definitely has a fumbling issue. And his big play on offense is basically running across the line of scrimmage like he's going in motion, and then they just hand off the ball real quick, and he gets you like 7 yards. I mean, it was an okay play, but I'm telling you right now, Switzer is going to be a lot better. Our rookie, Ryan Switzer, who's our punt return, kick returner specialist now. That's the one thing that we kind of were disappointed about.
So I was looking forward to seeing Switzer be forced to compete, even though we've all assumed Lucky Whitehead was going to get cut. It would have been nice to see them both at least pushing each other. So now it's pretty much a guarantee that Switzer will be getting that spot. But hopefully he does still show out at training camp and show us his skills. So.
Yeah. And also, guys, sorry about the audio issues. We fixed it temporarily. We'll improve it as the season goes on, trust me. But Eagles, hell no. Sorry, Chris. But we get you. It's all right. We're going to be talking about them, too. And we're going to have live game day streams throughout the whole year for every game. Definitely the both of us and even some more of our family here. So you can either celebrate with us if you're a Cowboy fan or laugh at us if you're an Eagle fan. We know you guys do a lot of laughing and battery throwing in snow. So we know how that goes. We're just going to go over some quick points. This is our first live stream. And just going to go over it since today kicked off training camp. Want to go through some stuff that we were watching and kind of talking, hearing about the Cowboys camp this afternoon and evening here in the East Coast. First things first, Sean Lee looked great. He was communicating. He picked up right where he left off last season. Just the way he was calling audibles on the defense and communicating with the defensive team, with the rest of the players. He looked. They said he was fantastic in changing plays and communicating with the rest of his teammates. On offense, Travis Frederick, Dak Prescott, they were also communicating very well and seeing what the defense was doing before they put the pads on this afternoon. And they looked like it was a game time situation. So that's a good sign for the Cowboys. They look like they're ready to get the season on. So that's a good sign. Another thing that I heard that sounded good is our front defensive line, the defensive rotation, especially at defensive end, which is one of our big weaknesses. I'm looking here. It says that DeMarcus Lawrence, Benson Mayowa, Taco, of course, our first-round pick. Demontre Moore, which we got from the Giants, and he's played with Seattle. Charles Tapper, who was injured last year, he's going to be there the whole time. So, they all look good. They all took snaps at the defensive end.
I'm really personally excited to see Taco really shine now that we're in training camp. I know he struggled a little bit in the OTAs, and, as a first-round pick, he wasn't the most exciting. No one seemed to really be talking about him. We've heard a lot about Uzier, some of the other players you drafted. So I really want to see Taco shine and really find his spot on this defensive line.
With Rod Marinelli's defensive style, probably he's gonna be just a rotational player, which is not a bad thing. But again, he's not going to be, in my opinion, that defensive pass rushing presence that we desperately need on defense. But hey, if he does do well and he can continue to improve from his college days. And they're saying that, he's still young and he's, still, young in the sense of like he can still kind of change his ways. Lots of room for
improvement. And again, we just want to see that improvement to continue to benefit the Cowboys.
High upside is the thing with him. So he could develop that. I personally think that Benson Mayowa, who last year was our our team leader in sacks with 6, I think we got to keep an eye on him. I think he's going to be a surprise. Demontre Moore, he's injury prone, and you can watch the other videos and you can hear what we have to say about our views about all the different positions on the Cowboys and what we expect in training camp.
So you're predicting that Mayo is going to have a better season than last year?
Well, it's hard. It's hard to do that because of the rotation that we have. So Mayo might play first and second down, and then Taco might come in on third down as a rusher. So it just depends who's our best pure pass rusher. I mean, they're talking about Charles Tapper. Last year, he pretty much missed most of the season. I mean, he's going to be a good player, too. I'd keep my eyes open on him and see how that goes. Now, as far as our defensive tackle nose guard area, one of the things that came to light was Cedric Thornton is one of the starters as of right now, former Eagle. So Chris K, boo. But we have him now. The thing is that Thornton, I didn't really see much from him last year. And I mean, unless he just develops better in training camp and as the season progresses, I don't see him keeping that spot. I think Malik Collins is going to be a major player in that spot. Of course, when we get Irving back from suspension, he'll be playing defensive tackle. Tyrone Crawford has been playing defensive tackle as well, but he also plays end. So he's kind of an all-purpose guy. But the one thing that people saw today at the training camp was Stephen Paella.
Yeah, they said that he was moving very quick, getting a lot of speed there. So again, fingers crossed that we finally have that missing piece to our defensive puzzle, or at least a big piece of it that will help us really get in there.
In the center position there at the defensive tackle, that's where he'd be playing, and I think that Paella is, he's more of a role player. Again, we have the rotation, so we're not going to really find a dominator in the middle there, but maybe someone that could help take off the loss of Terrell McClain. So maybe that'll be his thing for Paella there.
Sorry, Chris, I got to disagree with you there. Your Eagles got a lot of catching up to do before your defensive line comes close to ours. So.
Well, are we talking about the Eagles defensive line?
He just said you can take Thornton. D-line's way better than your D-line. So.
Well, I got to disagree with you there. I think that the Eagles have a good defense, and I'm not going to make fun of them yet. I still think that
I'll do it for you.
That's why we're my Cowboys family, because we all have different opinions about this and different levels of understanding. And sometimes she'll tell me something I completely missed, and a lot of times I'm telling you things that you missed. Yeah, but it's all right. She's still a little newbie, but no, I think the Eagles have a good defensive line, and I know we have Thornton now. I'm not worried about him. He's not going to probably be starting, so you can have him back, Chris. Other things I want to quickly just touch on, which was from today's training camp, and I made some notes here. As far as our tight end situation is, James Hanna was the second tight end, which is a good sign. I really like Hanna. He's a blocking tight end. He was brought in originally as a pass-catching tight end, but he never developed into that. He just became a real solid blocking tight end. So he was injured last year. That was a major. He missed the whole season. So the fact that he's back on the field and he's playing the backup to Witten is a good sign for us Cowboy fans. We also have Jeff Swain from last year. He was a rookie last year. I did not like his pass catching. He dropped a lot of balls in preseason. By the middle of the season, he was injured and he missed the rest of the year. Another Hanna-type player. He was also out there, even though he had an injury. He backed both of Witten and Hanna up. So looks like all the tight ends are kind of there. Of course, we have Rico Gathers. He's still developing. We'll see if he can become a pure pass-catching tight end. But we have a long training camp before that comes about.
Well, the best news, of course, is we finally really got to see a little bit of Jalen Smith and what he can do.
Yes.
And the bit that we saw looked very promising. His footwork looked great. His speed looked great. Again,
he was cutting very well. He had great cutting, which is important for that knee.
So it does look like he was wearing long pants, so he most likely is still wearing the brace. But again, it doesn't seem to be affecting his speed or movement at all.
Right.
I'm sure as training camp progresses and we get to see him do a few more different things, we'll really be able to assess how healthy his leg is. But so far, things look very promising.
Yeah, his range looked very well. He covered a lot of ground. And this is the first day of training camp, of course. Anything could still happen. There's a lot of time. But from what we've seen, He looks strong, and we just keep, like you said earlier, keep your fingers crossed. I'm really keeping my fingers crossed for him because if we get him out there, I'm predicting by midseason, if there's no setbacks, he's going to be 100%. And you Eagles and Redskins and Giants better be aware.
Watch out.
Yeah, because we're going to have a big time linebacking core if there's no injuries. Hopefully Lee stays healthy and Hitchens is doing great. We just signed Durant, who's going to give us great depth, and he'll probably help start if Jalen Smith's not going to be there in the beginning of the season. So
on a side note, I also think that Sean Lee is going to have another Pro Bowl season this year for sure.
For sure.
Great time.
Yeah. Now more about the linebacker. One little thing here because there's three main line. We run a 4-3, so our three linebackers going to be Lee, Hitchens, and hopefully Jalen Smith sooner than later, but we want him 100%. But again, without Smith there and without Damian Wilson, right? I mean, he's going to be suspended. So it looks like Durant is going to be running in that spot as well. We also have Kyle Wilbur. He was working behind Sean Lee as the weak side linebacker, and Durant was running. He can do all three positions at linebacker. So we have great depth now, but not great depth, but we've definitely
better
improved.
Depth than before, especially now that we've picked up Durant. That definitely helps. He knows
the system. He knows the system great. He played with us a couple of years already. He was almost going to retire. We pulled him back out, and I think that was a big plus.
I definitely feel more confident about him than Wilbur if it comes down to it.
Yeah. Wilbur or Wilson. Both those guys, I personally don't have much confidence in. So Durant is a nice fourth linebacker once Smith comes back in.
Which, again, is still yet to be determined. We still have no news on how long he'll be suspended for, but it's just a matter of time.
Right. Now, our fullback, Keith Smith, he used to be a linebacker. He played fullback last year, all season. I personally think that he did great for what we needed him to do, and I think he's going to make the team again. He's a good lead blocker for Zeke, and so he had a good day today. They said he looked again like he was last year. He looked really good at playing fullback. Any other thing here? The little bad thing here would be Jordan Lewis, our cornerback. I think a third-round pick. He unfortunately has to go to court, so he did not make the training camp today, and that's going to delay his progression. And again, the fact that he has to go to court, even though it still might be settled, eventually there's some kind of plea deal. It's going to probably affect him. I hope it's not going to cause a suspension because all this really occurred before he was drafted. So the NFL kind of is sketchy with that. Sometimes they let it slide. Sometimes they want to suspend. So either way, we'll see. We do
have to kind of assume the worst, though. So
we're not counting on him yet.
Yeah.
But watch for him in the future because I believe he will be taking over Nolan Carroll, another Eagle player, former Eagle player. I think he'll be taking over his spot. Anthony Brown, Scandrick in the slot. And I think Awuzie might take over for Jeff Heath. So, I mean, that's just again, watch our videos and check it out. And then, you'll see what we're talking about. But
as far as so many Cowboys players getting suspended, look, let's be honest. It's not a new issue in the NFL. We are not the only team dealing with players that have personal issues on and off the field. We got rid of at least one of those problems with Lucky Whitehead, who we mentioned before, had a few issues last year, previous issues in other seasons.
Now.
Yes. So at the end of the day, the NFL, the Cowboys, the organization is not responsible for the behavior of these players. We have to hope that they do the right thing, but there's consequences to their actions.
And yes, Nolan Carroll, I know he's trash. Not as trashy as some of your other cornerbacks on your team, on the Eagles team, but yeah, I mean, I never really liked even that pickup in the first place, but I don't like Brandon Carr. Didn't really like Morris Claiborne. He was a bust. And Barry Church was probably our best guy we lost on defense, or one of the better guys we lost on defense. Wilcox played behind him. He was a backup to Church. So we lost all depth there. We lost like 4 players that played a lot. But with our rookies, and again, not counting the rookies so fast, but with Carroll, just for the time being, he'll probably start the season. And then you have Anthony Brown, 6th-round pick last year, played fantastic, and I think you all know that. And Scandrick, who's always been there, except for when he got injured, he'll be playing the slot. Yeah, he's consistent, but he's been injured. So hopefully he can stay healthy and play the slot, and I think we'll be set there to start the season. But as it goes on, I think Awuzie is going to, of course, make appearances at the corner spot.
I do think, like you said, he will be mainly playing safety for the most part, correct?
Well, yeah, I think he'll play safety if the cornerback spots are set, and if Jeff Heath, our safety, alongside Byron Jones, which he's going to be the leader there in the defensive backfield. But with Jeff Heath, I think he's a weak link on our team. I've seen him play for the last couple of years. He just makes interceptions mainly against Tampa Bay. And I think he had one against Green Bay in the playoffs. But
was it playoffs or was it week 6?
I'm not sure. He had one against Green Bay.
Against Green Bay, he did have one.
Yeah, and again, the thing is, I just don't. He doesn't stick out to me. He seems to be again another guy who I lack confidence in. We have Xavier Woods. That he's a rookie from a small school. Whether or not he's going to be able to break into the starting lineup in the season still is yet to be seen. But I think that Awuzie can play a lot of different positions. Like I said, he's a cornerback, but he's a smart guy. He's a big guy too. He's strong. He can play safety. He can also play a linebacker position in a dime formation. So on passing downs, you might see him as the linebacker. Awuzie is a special player, so keep your eyes on him. Like you had said earlier about Taco, I mean, he did show Taco Charlton, our first-round pick. He showed a lot of quickness in today's opening day of camp, which is a good sign from him. And again, hopefully he could continue improving throughout training camp, throughout the preseason.
Yeah, and the Cowboys can keep developing that skill so that we can use it.
Yes, hopefully. I mean, again, in our rotation, but he might be our third down rusher. Yet to be seen. First day of camp. Just wanted to give you a quick rundown. Just say, no suspensions, no injuries. And
hopefully it stays that way. We want our Cowboys healthy.
And, we know like you said earlier, every team has their issues. But I will say that Zeke, I don't think he's going to get suspended. And, the other guys who did get suspended, they're going to, Irving's missing 4 games. Carroll's going to probably miss a game or 2 because of his DUI, maybe.
Wilson, again, still has yet to be seen how many games he'll be out.
Not a big loss, though, from him, except for the fact that we were hoping that he'd be able to be there for Jalen Smith. We have Durant, so that kind of offsets that issue. And the only other thing is, Lucky Whitehead. All right, to me, I had said this in previous videos, never liked him, never will. And I just think he's he fumbles too much and doesn't have that real nose to get good returns, which is a very big deal in NFC East and every game. So I think Switzer is a special guy, so keep your eye on him too, another rookie who will play a lot of kickoff punt returns, and he'll be slowly being used on offense in the slot. And I think he's going to also be like a Dunbar, believe it or not, Lance Dunbar, who left us. I think he's going to be on 3rd down and 12, 3rd and 15. You might see him as a running back, not running the ball, but going on little plays in the flats, and he can run. So once that ball's in his hands, he's gone. So keep your eye out for that too. So
I will say Jerry Jones' team very confident as far as the whole Ezekiel Elliott situation. So if we know Jerry World is secure and they're confident, and as we all know, the police reports all showed.
Yeah, I mean,
if the NFL suspends Ezekiel Elliott, I do expect that he will appeal it, and hopefully it'll be overturned. But of course, we want to make sure that he'll be able to play for our starting game in the Giants.
Yeah, I mean, I what I'm hearing and all that stuff with that nightclub in Ohio where you had that issue, all that stuff, honestly, I mean, everything's coming out. It comes out in a big news. TMZ makes a big deal about it, and all of a sudden, the truth comes out. So if hopefully everything is the way we've heard and the way that the reports have now kind of everything after everything subsided, everything kind of coming out that he's not going to really be in big trouble any of those things. I just personally think he's still a little immature. He still needs to improve. He's not like a Dak. Dak's a leader. Zeke is a jokester. And, that's great and all, but he needs to somebody has to sit him down and say, hey, this is big. You're the best running back in the league.
Stay home.
Yeah, stay home a little more often, right? So aside from those things, I think it was a pretty good start to training camp. We have about 10 days before our first game against the Cardinals in Canton, Ohio for the Hall of Fame game in preseason. And
a very big game for the Cowboys as well, since Jerry Jones.
Jerry Jones is getting inducted into the Hall of Fame, so that's kind of cool. And, I mean, who cares? I don't care about winning and losing preseason. That's garbage.
No, we do want to see our players perform, and we're just excited to see how they look on the field.
Everything we just talked about is what we're looking for in that first preseason game against the Cardinals. It's going to be all vanilla offense and vanilla defense. It's just going to be routine, not many changes or audibles. Also, we don't want to show too much of what we're game planning and for the regular season. So, that's the way every team pretty much does for the preseason. especially the first game or two. And we have 5 this year, which I hate. But in the end, I'm glad that we'll get to see them in about 10 days. They got the training camp, probably one of the earlier teams, or Cowboys and the Cardinals. So it'll be interesting to see them battle it out in Ohio for the the Hall of Fame game. But for the most part, the biggest, other than seeing how these players develop and how try to fight for a starting position or depth or to make the team, aside from those things, I think the most important thing about preseason, aside from that, no injuries. And outside of the whole training camp world, no stupidity, no suspensions.
Cowboy players, if you are listening, go home. Stay home.
Relax and get ready for the Super Bowl at the end of the season, hopefully. Not watching the Super Bowl. All right, let's get back to our winning ways like we did last year. And let's continue it this year. Very tough schedule. We know it. It's going to be hard. It's not going to be probably a 12 or 13 winning season, but neither is it going to be for the Giants, the Eagles, or the Redskins. You all have a tough schedule too. So
with that said, I think we're going to go ahead and leave it off here.
Yeah.
Obviously, we'll be updating you guys as more news comes out of training camp, but we're just excited to be back for the almost official first day of football. It's nice to see our Cowboys back out on the field.
Yep, and remember to like, subscribe so you keep up with these video clips that we're going to be uploading and some of these live streams now. Most live streams are going to be game day live streams. I'm going to do the whole thing here with you guys and converse with you. But I go crazy when I watch the Cowboys. She can attest to that.
Yeah, you definitely want to tune in, if only just to hear him.
But I know what I'm talking about in the game. So I usually annoy everybody because I talk so much. So it's just going to be the natural state, except you guys will be watching. Aside from that, like, subscribe, and never forget one thing. What's that one thing? Go Cowboys! Peace out, and we'll see you soon.